I'm ChosenArchitect, and this is All the Mods Volcano Block. Now, last episode, we ended up getting a little bit of exploring done in some basics as far as sieving goes. I still have a lot of sieving left to do before we ultimately will have this automated. Now, before I get to work on that, there's some other things that we need to take a look at, and that is expanding out onto the sides here. That is something that I've wanted to do. This is going to get us a mob farm today, and hopefully also get ourselves some passive mob spawning so we can get things like leather, chickens, and all kinds of fun stuff like that. Now, thankfully, one of the quests actually give us the ability to bring in mobs. Right here under the getting started, this seed, I didn't even notice this last episode, but Delightful Dirt, Dreadful's the opposite of this. Dreadful Dirt spawns in more creatures and it gives you one of them. So we're going to use it wisely, but this is going to be very nice. And we do have a grass seed from sieving our dirt. And so there we go. This is going to make getting passive mobs to spawn incredibly easy and super fast as well. Now, right now, making dirt is going to be one of my priorities. So I'm going to make up some of these wooden hoppers, and this should allow us to automate this oak barrel by simply placing a hopper on the top and on the bottom. We should be able to hook this up to some inventories. For example, just a couple of chests. If we place a chest here, we can probably make this a little bit smaller by placing a hopper onto the back. These wooden hoppers, to me, seem just like normal hoppers, except just made of wood. And we should be able to place that on top with a chest. And now we need to craft up some shears. And thankfully, there is some flint in this pack and flint shears. So that's pretty cool. And we can just grow ourselves a tree and use the leaves. I think leaves are some of the best early game method. So long as you have a decent amount of saplings already, it's probably best to just simply do this with them. Shear them, that way you can use this to grow dirt, grow dirt. But yes, you can use these leaves, and this should send it in, as you can see right here, and it's just going to make a bit of dirt for us. Not insanely fast at the moment, but it can get quick. Of course, if you, well, make enough of these. So just like this. So I now have this same setup multiple times and utilizing a double chest, so that way it will split the items in between. Of course, I think you can use, for example, most organic matter, and this is going to split it up. Now, when I say most organic matter, you can actually look at the barrel and it will tell you what can be composted. And so you're able to see the entire list of all of the things that is compostable. Now, with all of that dirt, I went ahead and made myself a nice little pin, and I made sure that on the bottom here, I put down some cobblestone. We don't want items dropping, so we're going to need a platform underneath just about everything that we build, because, well, if I break a block and it just happens to not go in my inventory, it'll go into the lava and be gone forever. That includes dirt. Now, I don't know if this delightful dirt here can be picked back up after we break it without silk touch. So keep that in mind. Once we place this in, it's where it's at. But as you can see, it is immediately going to start spawning animals, and quite nicely, actually. So I'll let this kind of spawn up some animals here. And I think we have some more grass seed. If not, I'm going to sieve. Yeah, there we go. We have some grass seed. So that'll also get some regular grass growing in here. And of course, this grass does not look that great. Also, we don't really need these mobs right now, so I want to make sure to get rid of these mobs. Yes, of course, you can grow a tree and that will turn into a charm, but for right now, we don't need them. We specifically need like cows for leather and chickens right now. Now, I love this. For a mob spawner, it actually gives you some dreadful dirt from the start. That is so nice. We don't have to go through the grind right away in order to make more of this. It just gives it to us. And this means any mob farm that we build can be right beside our base. And all we need to do is make sure that it is completely dark there. Now, this being in a newer version of Minecraft means, well, the setup is going to look a little weird. Now, currently I have this door set here. I don't think this is going to work for this because it does appear to be letting light in. And unfortunately, the F7 button, which would enable the light overlay, doesn't seem to be working. But I could go ahead and just place this down. This is a 5x5 room. Oh, and it does appear to be working even with the door. So I guess the light level, it doesn't have to be anything crazy here. So this does appear to be working. Perfect. You know what? And I might drop this area right here down one to get this to work better. But look at that, we already have Enderman. Oh, this is going to be great, especially when we get a magnet and stuff. That is going to be perfect. So yeah, I'm gonna definitely drop this whole platform down. So yeah, so essentially I should be able to just simply kill the mobs now and collect their loot. And getting an ender pearl would be really nice because then we could just make a magnet relatively quick. Did I happen to get an ender pearl? How did I not get an ender pearl from that? Now I did learn some knowledge of death, and if you click here, this actually pulls up a menu. This is the same mod that is your grave. And I like to mention this because this can be overlooked because it's more than a grave mod. It actually gives you some cool perks, like can give you bonus potion duration or give you some more mob drops from this particular mod and all kinds of other cool things. Even if you die, you can potentially hold more of your experience, which could be useful. I think for me, I really like the fact that you can increase the length of a potion. So that is really nice. Now you have to get to death 3 before you can upgrade again. And then this also has some other configuration options that allow you to change the color of graves and all kinds of other neat things. But yes, the fact that we have ourselves a mob farm here is going to be really nice. And this is the sword that we got last episode, which isn't great, but it does do a little bit more damage than this sword would. Ooh, let's see. Can we get an ender pearl? No ender pearl. Oh man, this is gonna be a minute. Gosh, there's a cute little starbuncle here that's named Shade. And these starbuncles are really cool. These ones that have special names associated to them. They have some lore around them as well. And I do have a little bit of gold. So let's go ahead and smelt up at least a piece of gold. That should allow me to give it a golden nugget. Look at the shade. Don't jump in lava, please. Please don't jump in lava. I just need it to take this nugget. This is how you collect these starbuncles, by the way. And if you get a special one that spawns in like this, just drop down a nugget and let it eat the nugget. Come on, buddy. Take the nugget. There he goes. And then it will go poof. And you actually get this. And it says, once a necromancer's family are familiar, now a wandering soul looking for its next master. Oh man, waiting for the turn of his first, and I'm gonna be that. Oh boy, I'm gonna be this little guy's friend. It's really cool that we actually get starbuncles this way because, yeah, that now that we know that all the Ars stuff can spawn in this, that's gonna make getting into Ars a whole lot easier. By the way, tearing down the floor in here, bad idea. Don't do that. It needed to be dark and be separated because apparently slabs can still technically let light in from the bottom, so the lava was lighting this up too dark. Now, I also extended this out a little bit because the door technically lets light in as well. So this is going to leave me with a little bit of a problem here. What is that? Oh, we're in a desert, so we get like blitz or blizz? Oh, wow. I didn't know that. But here in a moment, once I get an ender pearl, which, oh, we just got, I should hopefully be able to make a magnet, and then I don't really need to worry about how I collect these items. So right here is the magnet, and we need a little bit of redstone. And I think to get redstone, we just need to sieve dust. Yes, dust will get us the redstone we need. Let's see if we get incredibly lucky with this. And we got 0 redstone out of that. We're gonna need a lot more dust. There we go. This should get me plenty of dust. As you can see, it all just dumps into the floor because it doesn't stay in its compressed form after this. So a couple of sieves. Oh, I might have to upgrade to an iron mesh, or at least one of them to an iron mesh. Oh yeah, that might be the case before I actually start getting any of this. So I'm gonna actually tear this down so I can just sieve from that mesh. And voila, we have ourselves a magnet from Pickle Tweaks. Now I wonder if this particular magnet has the option to toggle it on and off with a keybind. And just checked, and that would be a resounding no. No, it doesn't appear to be. However, in your inventory, you can right-click it to turn it on and off. You know, funny enough, I could have just sat here and waited a little bit longer, and I could have gotten redstone from the witches as well. Now, sieving with this magnet, oh, it is so much nicer, as everything, for the most part, ends up going right under my feet. Yes, this is going to be very nice. Now, another little thing, if you toss out all of your gravel while you're sieving and let everything else fill up in your inventory, well, you'll just infinitely supply your gravel, which there's apparently not a mod that will restock your hand once it's emptied. So yeah, it's another little convenient feature here. And we now have diamonds. We've beaten the game. No, diamonds, well, we've technically not beaten the game. That's changed now. It used to be beating the game would be getting diamonds, but now you have to get netherite. Dun dun dun. By the way, these guys have spawned around, of course, from our farm, but if you grow a tree near them, well, they should turn into shards as well. Now, to make things a little bit easier on myself, in the all the mods pack, there is usually all of the ores, which also includes this hammer. And this hammer is pretty powerful. We can actually make one of these with just a little bit of iron, put this together, and this will be our first main source of ore duplication from the raw versions. As you can see, we end up getting 2 dust for a single one here. And then of course this can be smelted, which will mean we're going to get all of these upgraded to iron pretty quickly, so long as we just sieve our first initial batch of gravel through the basic versions. So it does appear I just get 2 sand chickens. Like, if we have 2 chickens, we should be able to take these and breed them together. So we just got free sand basically from the resourceful chickens mod. What? I mean, of course, that's something that we'll end up doing in the future, but the fact that we just got 2 free sand chickens that are, you know, already ready to go, that's perfect. Ooh, down here, I just got myself my first Drigme. I think this is going to be a really important character later on, but we drop a Wildenhorn that we actually found inside of our chests when we did a little bit of exploring, and this is how you get yourself a Drigme shard. Also, look, it's our first normal chicken. I really want to keep you. Now, I just ended up collecting some more starbuckles, but these starbuckles had presents in their sack. Is that what it's called? I don't know. Yeah, their sack, their basket. And it gives you random things if you open these. So we just got some arrows, it looks like, and we got some potions of mana regeneration. Now, one thing to note, I've been playing this for quite a bit now, and I could have made the crafting table on a stick. I mean, of course, now is a perfect time to make it as well. But this has a hotkey that we can assign. Look at another starbuckle. I love starbuckles running around, by the way. We can go ahead and place this in our inventory. We can craft up a crafting table on a stick. Now, this goes in the crafting table on a stick area. And I did play around with this a little bit while streaming over on Twitch, by the way. If you didn't know, I do stream over on Twitch, twitch.tv/ChosenArchitect. And I had been playing All the Mods 9, and this was in All the Mods 9. And it is a new ability to be able to put it into the Curo slot and also assign a hotkey to it. So definitely in the controls, we can go crafting table on a stick. And if we find that, which actually it may be a separate key, crafting table to stick. It's set to V by default. I'm going to set this to Control E, and hopefully that will work. And that should pull up a crafting table anytime I hit Control and E together. That's going to be kind of nice. So we don't have to always go to a crafting table. We can just do that anywhere. Now, throughout this mod pack, there are some really interesting quests and rewards for those quests. And this is one good example. When we complete this, we have a chance of getting a ton of different items. Like, the list is quite extensive, as you can see that it's still scrolling. So when we complete this, what do we get? We got melon seeds. But that's just one of many major quests that can give you rewards like that. But wow, we got, I don't know if this is lucky. It's definitely not lucky because we can sieve for these, but yeah, you can get cool rewards. Hey, look, the traveling lead salesman is here. How are you today? Offering honestly nothing that I really want. Aside from, well, your beautiful leads, because this will allow us to make something that can pick up mobs. Of course, also dropping a little bit of leather. So yeah, these leads right here, when combined with gold and an ender pearl, makes us an ender lead, which allows us to actually pick up and move mobs. And just like that, I should now be able to punch mobs technically to pick them up. So we punch them, that picks them up, and then right click to place them. And yes, it does have a little bit of durability, but the fact that we have this tool is going to make moving mobs so much easier. Now, there's going to come a time where I am going to need, well, slime. And in the quest, it does prompt you to do this, to go towards this step, and that is to make the mycelium spores. But we have some, so we can go ahead and start making witch water. I know, you may be asking which water, and I'm going to say which water. Yeah, this water. So we're going to make this with a little bit of a platform here and just sort of expand this out. This will grow I think mushrooms will grow in mycelium if you had it in the dark. But in our case, we should be able to just get mushrooms, as it does mention it right here. It does talk about how to get the actual mushroom. It says first get brown mushrooms and using mycelium spores on a barrel of witch water with witch water inside of it. So I'm glad I saved a mycelium spore, because that's going to grant me a little bit of mushroom. Yeah. So if I place these on top here, I'm not sure if this will still manage to grow with these placed on top. These take up a full block, but I know in the past that Ex Nihilo would let this grow. But we just need a bucket. And as you can see, my inventory is getting kind of clustered. And so here soon, we should be able to set up some storage. But this is going to be converting to witch water. And that means we can get all of these over here converted, all of the ones that have mycelium underneath it. And there we go. It has now turned. Now it says to put the spore in here. And there we go. That creates our first brown mushroom block. I don't know, is there a way to guarantee a drop from the mushroom block? It looks like putting it in again will get us the red mushroom block. I don't know if there's a guaranteed way of breaking this and getting mushrooms out of it, but oh, nope. So it is going to be a chance of doing that. So we definitely need our dirt in production to be able to fully get this up and running. But once we get ourselves some mushroom, we should be able to make a slime block. You can see all it's going to take is one mushroom, and that will get us some slime, which is used in a lot of mods early on. Now my base right now is a complete and utter mess, but I think we can get our chest at least organized at this point. And that is going to mean moving into a new storage mod. And there's multiple storages you could use. You could end up using RF tools or anything like that, but we're going to be using Ars Nouveau, which actually has a new storage in it, and it is quite nice. By the way, when setting up your builds, there is a chisel mod, so I should be able to take, hopefully, these materials and chisel them into something that looks really nice. For example, this, turn the connected textures on, and I can then chisel all of these blocks. And that's going to give me a really nice look. Look at that. A little bit different. Now, of course, I'm using Blackstone, and all of these platforms are very temporary until we get usually into like Applied Energistics or something. And then I like to tear everything down. So don't get accustomed to what I'm currently building here, as it's super temporary. And I'm not typically one to go, oh yeah, this is temporary, and then it stays up forever. That's never normally the case. Now, getting started with Ars, we can get a lot of our resources from simply adventuring, from what it looks like. Because I did find some Ars stuff, that means we can find many of the things that are going to take a little bit of time, including source gems, which we're going to need several of. Of course, we can make those normally, but it is going to be pretty nice to just natively have the ability to just find them without needing to wait for them to craft and or needing to set up a source production. Now, we'll definitely need ourselves a source production later on, but for the basic storage, we really don't need any source at all outside of making those source gems. By the way, medium backpack now done. And it looks like we need a large backpack as well. I cannot make a large backpack at this point, but the medium backpack, oh my gosh, this is going to be so great. Let's get in our boat and do a little bit more exploring. Hopefully we can find some more of those loot chests. Now, I had to change some keybinds, but once you get everything set, you can set your backpack opening to the B key, which is what normally opening your backpack is set to. And now we can access it while it's inside of our bobble slot. So, oh boy, off on an adventure. I'm going to dump everything, get myself some building blocks, and we are going to hopefully go out and grab some cool new gear. Oh, hey, look, there's a ship that's very similar to ours out here. Oh, and it's got nether wart. And, oh, and skeletons. Okay, yeah, we can't do that just yet. I'm in a boat and they can shoot me. No, I don't need to die to lava today. So yeah, just like in this chest right here, there's a source berry. Ooh, there's also a Alexia Botania. I'm finding these two. This is Projectile Pierce, Linger Sensitive, Summon Vex. These are really powerful spell books, by the way. And then this one, Projectile Hex, Harm. All of these are really powerful. But here we go. Perfect example of getting ourselves some source gems via this method. This particular book creates a temporary tunnel in blocks. This is a spell that is like the end game of Ars. Now this place definitely looks interesting. Unfortunately though, no real Ars stuff here. And there's 2 chests, one here, and it looks like there was one in that building as well. But nothing to really call home about, other than the fact that there's create pipes everywhere. Now this is more like it. There was literally 4 in that one slot. So these are the chests that I'm after. Ooh, and even a squid beak. Oh man, what that just gives me, that makes this even easier. Even though if you are looking to get ink, which we're going to need here in a minute, this right here can be sieved from sand. I just realized that up inside of these cranes, there's barrels in here. And it has loot, and there's a rending gale inside of this. A straight up rending gale that allows you to just fly anywhere so long as you have feathers on you. It consumes feathers for like very, very fast flight. Yes, looting 100% is the way to go. I almost wonder if there's more stuff to loot in here. I can't. Oh, my pick is completely broke, so I have no way of testing. What even? So yeah, I went to the one that's actually near the base to see now that I repaired my pick. And yeah, oh my gosh. These are kind of cool. Tablet of Conjure Island cascading. It's a tablet that summons in an island. That seems pretty cool. And then we just get the book that gives you an elytra. I don't even know what to say. This is an elytra. Self-launch 2, glide, and then duration. Glide gives you the elytra effect. So now we just have an elytra. And it says duration down, but it gives you a minute worth of flight. I can just glide back home. I just have an elytra now. Oh boy, this is nice. Who needs a boat? Really? So now with all that, it is really time to dig deep and to get into the Ars fully. And well, let's get this thing set up. It actually doesn't require a whole lot. Now for even more source gems, of course, I think just going through the basis that is the quest lines is going to be helpful. So that involves making your first novice spellbook, which is very simple. But the main thing we are going to really need is to get some archwood logs up and running, which is pretty straightforward, and getting ourselves an imbuement chamber using those archwood logs. And then we also need to just get source gems, which we already have. So I've got to get all that done. That is about as straightforward as it gets. So the basic spell book. Now for those archwood saplings, well, you can't get them from a market. I did go ahead and make this thinking that I could use it for that. They're not actually in there. You do have to sieve for those. So yes, when we sieve, we end up getting a ton of different saplings from just about anything. So no real need for a market, but if you're in a desert like I am and you can't bone meal to get the flowers, well, I just use some beetroot seeds to do that. So after getting this behemoth of a tree to grow, all we have to do is collect all of the saplings, and now we have ourselves progressed a little bit further, and all of this wood is going to be used for all of the different machines that Ars Nouveau offers. Now to make source gems right off the bat without any sort of source generation, you just simply place some lapis in here and it's just going to work over time. That's going to be the best way to get more source gems early on, outside of just looting, which seems to be a pretty decent way of getting them. Now these quests also have a chance of giving you a random essence in some of them, so that's pretty nice. We ended up getting some earth essence. Now I'm not going to be going into the full ins and outs of Ars currently. I'm basically going to be just setting up the storage, which doesn't really require a whole lot of the in-depth part of Ars, outside of just making the crafting interfaces that you're going to need. So the next step in our process is to simply set up the enchanting apparatus. You're going to need an arcane core enchanting apparatus, and we place this right down here. And this is like a multi-item crafter. So we can actually use these arcane pedestals, and normally you'd want like 8 of them, but we can now make them tiny. And this is really cool because we can just set them up like this if we want to. Of course, you would normally have 8 of them around, but we can make this thing incredibly small looking, which I love. Now, one of the things I'm going to need for this to work outside of the actual storage lectern is going to be the Dominion Wand. So if I just take these things, which is a stick in the middle and gold, and I can show you 1 item here, 2 of these source gems, and then a stick in the middle, and this is going to craft up just like so. So good looking. And is going to give me a Dominion Wand, which is how you configure a lot of the things in the Ars pack, including the entities, which we're going to be using here with the storage lectern. And this is just chests with a lectern in the middle. So this will require all 4. simply setting up chests. So let's get this storage lectern made. So we put the chests in, and then we put that in the middle, and we've almost got this done as well. Oh my goodness, I'm loving this. And this is going to be so nice for early game storage. Oh, because we're going to use this with another mod. And there we go. So now we have ourselves the storage lectern, which is incredibly important. But there's still one more thing we need to do. We need to craft the thing that is going to allow this storage lectern to work. And that is a worm. Now, in order to attach inventories to the lectern here, we are going to need to set up a ritual, and we need ourselves a bookworm. So that is what we're going to be using in order to get this going. And this is where that book and quill, I said earlier that the ink sac was going to come in handy, because we need a book and quill to modify a awakening ritual. And this is as simple as placing this on here and then clicking the written book onto it and then clicking it again to activate it. And this will give us a bookworm charm. And this is pretty straightforward. Now that we have all of these things, we can tear this down for right now because we'll be utilizing these things later on. We can go ahead and get the storage set up. And for that, I'm going to be using colossal chests. This mod, by the way, is about as simple as it gets. You literally just take your wood to make these colossal chests. We're going to need a chest core, and we're also going to need a chest latch, which is going to be made like so. Or sorry, the interface. So this is the latch and this is the interface. But to get this massive storage set up, well, we need to craft ourselves a large chest, and it is going to look very similar to a normal chest. However, the interior will be hollow. This point right here, this block down on the bottom, is going to be the interface, which is what mods interact with. And then the middle is going to be the actual core. And then we just simply make, this is the smallest form you can make. We just make a very large chest. And yes, it has tons of storage. Of course, this is upgradable as well. You can make these larger. Fair warning though, if you are going to be setting these up, make sure that you kind of keep them inside of a chunk. I just hit F3 and G to see that. Try not to put them in between chunk bounds, as it can lead to some issues with this mod and mini mods that have multi-block structures. So try your best to keep them within a single chunk. Now for the final step, and that is to just simply place the lectern, and then we need to click the bookworm on it, which there's the bookworm, and then we just need to link the inventory. So I believe it is shift click, position set, and then click. So we shift clicked on here, and then I clicked on this, and now we have this whole inventory as our storage. And this thing is huge, by the way. And like I said, can get very, very large. But this is going to be way better than just going through all of these chests and figuring out what we need. Probably one of the best early game mods, as long as you don't mind the slight grind that it takes to get started. By the way, the bookworms can be dyed as well. So if you do have dyes that you want to use on them, of course you can do that. Of course, I don't have any dyes at the moment, but you can do that. And they do support up to 8 inventories per wireum. So we can have multiple inventories connected to this, including more colossal chests, as this just counts as one singular inventory. And yeah, I think the only downside is I don't think there's a way to dictate the priority of the chests, which is its one main limiting factor, unless there is an interesting way of doing that and I just don't know about it. And so yes, this works just like refined storage. So if we want to craft anything out of here, all we have to do is just search it in JEI. Typically searching up here works. And we can just say, I don't know, stone brick, for example. Or any of the logs to planks, right? We can just go, okay, I want to make some oak slabs. So I just send that there, and it's going to continue to craft them. And of course, we can craft out stacks of it and all of that. So now we're going to be working within this interface. Now the only downside is it's incredibly bright. I wish there was a dark mode that you can enable. Maybe that's something that might get added in the future. That would be pretty darn cool. And with that, my friends, we have technically finished up today's episode. My goal has been achieved, and we now have storage, making this game a little bit easier. Now, we still don't have wireless access to that, as that requires you to dive a little bit deeper into Ars Nouveau. But you can make yourself a spell that allows you to access this wirelessly, just not cross-dimensionally. That's still not a thing that you can easily do. So, guys, I hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you learned something and you enjoyed this video, be sure to click that subscribe button if you haven't already, and give this video the biggest thumbs up you've ever given in your life. I would really appreciate it. And so would my bookworm over here. This is going to be Alfred. So, yeah, we'll call him Alfred for as long as he lasts. Hello, Alfred. So now, without further ado, it is now time to thank the supporter of today's video. And that amazing thanks is going to go to Order in Chaos. Thank you so much for your amazing support, by the way, over on the Discord, becoming a Discord premium member and supporting in one of the best ways possible. Guys, I appreciate you. Thank you so very much. And of course, I hope to see you in the next one. And as always, thanks for watching. Bye.